How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is Deck Ready, my channel all about Steam hardware. And in today's video, we've got a big topic to cover because it looks like some Steam hardware is imminent. Before I jump into this video, if you like these videos, it would really help me out if you subscribe to the channel and set your notifications to all. But let's just get into it because I got the bomber jacket on. We got to get to the battle stations here because it looks like Valve is finally releasing some hardware. This is all building on the news story from last week where sadly it's Bradley discovered a shipping manifest that showed Valve got a huge shipment of Steam controllers. And at the time, there was a little bit of like an argument. I'm using the word argument because I don't have a better word for it. But some people thought that maybe Valve was just going to release the Steam controller because, you know, it's not supply constrained. It's not using RAM. It's not using storage. If they have them ready to go, why not release it to kind of throw people a bone and get them a little bit satiated while they take the time that they need to source the components for the Steam machine and get that launch ready to go. And then the other side where I kind of came down for biased reasons, I would say, is that maybe they were getting ready to launch all of it because, you know, if they are going to hit the first half of 2026 release date that they initially said that they wanted to hit, that's the timeline is running out, right? Like we're in May, basically. We're at the end of April. Then there's only one full month after May, the entire month of June to hit that first half of 2026 release window. So if we're that close, you'd think they'd want to release it all together. But this new info that we got pretty much cements the fact, at least in my opinion, that they're going to release the Steam controller standalone. We'll talk about what that means for the other hardware, but let's get into the actual details here. So sadly, it's Bradley, the best Valve hardware leaker in the game, is back with a new update. He discovered that on the back end of Steam DB, you can actually add the trailer or unboxing video for the Steam controller to your Steam library. You can download it, but if you go to watch it, it's just a black screen. Now, it might be encrypted or something, or, you know, they know how long the video is and they just created a video at that length with a black screen. And then when they're ready to launch the video, obviously to announce pre-orders and shipping dates and pricing and everything, they can just replace that file on the back end and then it'll download as an update to your computer. Regardless, it looks like they're going to upload an unboxing video for the Steam controller. It doesn't just look like it, that's what it is. It's literally titled Steam Controller Unboxing, so that's pretty cool. As far as like getting your hands on one of these goes, I don't think it's going to be as hard to get one as something like the Steam Deck where they had to do it in batches. Like we all showed up at a specific time, got our credit card through when we possibly could because it was going down so much. And then based on when your order went through, it literally put you in a digital line. So they did it in batches, just fulfilling orders. I don't think the demand is going to be there to the level of the Steam Deck for just a controller. Like I think they're going to sell a lot of these controllers because it looks like such a big advancement over what we got with the original Steam controller. But also B, I just don't think it's going to be that hard for them to source these things. Like if you go to Best Buy or Target, you don't even see games anymore for the PlayStation, the Switch 2, or the Xbox. You just see shelves and shelves full of both first party and third party controllers, right? Like we're long past the days of Nyko, the air cooled controllers that had fans in them and stuff like that were selling for like $25. But on the other hand, it's not like it's that difficult to create a bunch of controllers. I mean, Xbox, the joke for them forever was that they made more controllers than games. And now that has switched places for Sony. Like people say PlayStation makes more special edition controllers than games. And I know you got to talk about these things and keep in mind the economy of scale. Like the scale of Microsoft and Sony is a lot bigger than the scale of Valve, but it's just a controller. And like the parts that they're using are nothing crazy. So I don't think this thing is going to be hard to get. I hope I'm not wrong there like I was about, you know, what hardware they're launching. But when it comes to that, I'm happy to be wrong. Like obviously I want the Steam machine. I'm very excited for that. I would say I'm almost as excited for the controller just from a like convenience perspective of having as many of these things as I need. When it comes to how many I'm going to buy, I think I'm in for at least 3, but then, you know, you should probably get 4. I have a PC down here that's all set up. I have an 8-bit Do controller in the dock ready to go. On my TV upstairs, I also have my SteamOS PC, so obviously I want a Steam controller there. And then I've got the desk upstairs where I usually do stuff like Warhammer painting, but I do a little bit of gaming up there. And just depending on the price, I think I'm in for 3, but when you buy 3 controllers, you got to have 4, right? Like what if you have 3 friends over and then you got to give someone the 8-bit Do controller while 2 other people get the legitimate Steam controller? You can't have a situation like that. So I don't know. I think I'm in for 4, obviously permitting the fact that I'm able to buy 4. If I can only buy 1, I'm going to be happy with 1. But as far as the price goes, I mean, this one's really hard to nail down. Of course, we could do the Moore's Law is dead thing and add up the actual parts if we could find them. But, you know, the range that they could fall into is anywhere between $50 and $100. I think $100 would be kind of pushing it. Anything over that, I think most people will just buy 1, if any at all. But if they can come in at like $60 or $70, I think they're going to print money with these things, because that's just what controllers cost. Basically, in every generation, a controller is the cost of a new game. So like in the last generation, it was 60. The generation before that, it was 50. This generation, we're at $70. So I feel like 70 is a pretty safe bet for the controllers, unless you're looking at PlayStation, because while they started at $70, the regular controllers that aren't special edition, like just simple colors, those are 75. And then the special edition ones, like the Marathon one or the Genshin Impact one, those go all the way up to $85. So hopefully we're not in that range, because I don't care about the philosophy or whatever of pricing a controller. It just feels not right to have to spend over $100 on a controller, at least to me. Fully prepared to eat my words there and order a few of these when they do launch at $100. But, you know, I would appreciate it if Valve could keep these things around 60 or $70. I think that would go a long way with a lot of people. And just to recap what you're getting with the controller, you're not just getting the controller, you're getting some new technology with their docking station puck. It's both a wireless receiver for the controller that's going to give you a direct connection, which is cool, but it also charges the battery. Now, when it comes to the battery, they're claiming some pretty dang good battery life. I don't really care, because I don't play video games for more than like 4 or 5 hours at a time. And even with the horrendous battery life of the DualSense, it can usually make it through one of my gaming sessions, and then I either drop it on a dock or plug it in when I'm done gaming. But if they can make it last multiple play sections, like get it in the range of something like the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, that would be awesome. Like, that controller is a work of art in terms of both ergonomics and battery life. Like, it is extremely hard to drain the battery of a Nintendo Switch controller, not making a joke about there not being any games. Like, I've used it a ton and it's always charged and ready to go. I think since I bought my Switch 2 Pro controller, I've had to charge it once. So if we can get that level of battery life out of the Steam controller, that's going to be excellent. So the last section to cover here is obviously what's going to happen with the Steam Machine and Steam Frame if they do release the controller standalone. And you know, if you release one standalone, that kind of gives you license to do all of them standalone. So then after the Steam controller, they could go for whatever they have the most stock of. I would hope that they prioritize the Steam Machine. Nothing against the Steam Frame, but like, if that thing hits max popularity, like maximum possible sales for the Steam Frame, I would say it's going to be like 25 to 30% of the total number of Steam machines they could expect to sell. Even if it is like the best price to performance ratio, it's the most comfortable VR headset, it's the easiest to use, like any sort of metric you can hit positively for a VR headset, it's still a niche product, and I just don't think it's going to sell as much as the Steam Machine. So like, let's go in order of operations here. I would have started with the Steam Machine personally, but knowing that they're starting with the controller, I would guess the Steam Machine is up next. And I am really biased there. I really want a Steam Machine sitting underneath my TV, but you know, if they release the Steam Frame first, I'll be happy to buy that. I just really hope that these supply issues are not affecting the Steam controller, because we do know that when the Steam Machine was announced, they said they were going to sell it with or without the Steam controller, and I would guess that the 512 gig version does not come with the Steam controller. The 2TB one is like an all-in-one bundle that comes with 2 TB of storage and the Steam controller. Like, I think price is so important here that if what's holding them back is getting that 2 TB one out the door, sell the 512. It'll work out just like the Steam Deck, where a lot of people ended up buying the cheaper Steam Deck and then just upgrading the storage. Like, I literally did that. My first Steam Deck was the 64 GB LCD. That was the one that was easiest to get. Then right when I got it, before it even got to my office that I had in California back in the day, I had a 2230 drive on order. It was in the office before the Steam Deck. The very first video I made after my initial Steam Deck unboxing was how to swap out the hard drive or the SSD in the Steam Deck. And that video still racks up views to this day. It's like one of the biggest videos on my channel. And when you're talking about the Steam Deck, I would say replacing the SSD is like a difficulty level of like 3 or 4 out of 10. The hardest part is getting the back shell off without breaking any of those plastic pegs, especially if you've had your Steam Deck for a while, like you started with 512, you decided to spring for a 1 TB, then you open up the back, and then that plastic got a little more brittle over time, so you end up snapping some of the little pegs off. With the Steam Machine, it seems like it's going to be a lot easier. Like, it seems like there's just a little door, like on the PlayStation 5, where you pop off the faceplate. You've got access to the extra SSD slot. So, you know, if it's going to help with price a lot, which it seems like it is, I think you jettison the 2 TB option and just get rid of the whales who are willing to spend that much on it, and then just do the 512. And if people need more storage, they can, of course, I'm pretty sure, use one of the USB ports with an external SSD like a Samsung T5, or they can do the full swap method, which is installing a new SSD. And even if you do that, it's really not that difficult to install SteamOS. I've done it on so many devices, like my ROG Xbox Ally X. That was the most difficult because you have to turn off Secure Boot, which is kind of a pain in the butt because for some reason it decides it's going to save 50% of the time when you make the selection. I've also installed it, of course, on my SteamOS PC, legitimate SteamOS. That was super simple. You just go to the repository, get the absolute latest version of SteamOS recovery image that you can find. You flash it to a micro SD card or USB stick. You pop it in your computer, you boot from it, you install it. It's like a 5-minute process. So I don't think it's going to be all that difficult for people. So with all of that context in mind, I don't think it's that big of a deal if they kill off the 2 TB version and just launch the 512, because then at the end of the day, they only got to worry about one SKU, right? Like, include the controller for free with everyone, kind of get rid of the whole without a Steam controller option, and then you're rewarding people for buying more hardware from you. And then if people want to buy the controller, they can either buy it standalone or buy extras for their Steam machine. It's kind of like a perfect world situation. The problem this controller solves for me is basically down to the games I play. I've talked about this a lot, but I love extraction shooters. I've played all of them, whether it's Tarkov, Marathon, Hunt Showdown 1896, which is still by far my favorite. You've got Gray Zone Warfare, you've got Road to Vostok, and I'm pretty sure most, if not all of them, except for Marathon, don't have controller support. You can play Road to Vostok just fine on the Steam Deck using community profiles. Having that be able to be played on my TV with a controller is going to be life-changing for me. Same thing goes with Gray Zone Warfare. I don't play in the PvP servers, and while the AI is pretty good when you make your way into harder maps in the game, in the early maps at least, like that first town you spawn into, I think it's going to be just fine with the Steam controller. Like, it just opens up so many possibilities for playing games on your TV. And yeah, all we can really do now is sit back and wait for them to upload this trailer. But based on my track record, I'm going to upload this video and then they're going to post the trailer within 5 seconds. So if that happens, you're welcome, because that's how it always works for me. I spend all this time recording a video, editing the video, uploading it to YouTube, and then bam, right when I do that, they upload the freaking thing that I talked about, and then I've got to come down here and re-record my video. I am being so sarcastic also. I'm not complaining. I really enjoy my job. It's like my favorite thing in the world. It's just funny that, you know, every time this happens and I make a video, it becomes redundant within like 5 minutes. It's just kind of funny. But yeah, guys, that about covers all the updates we have around Steam hardware. Hopefully we get the controller and then it's not long for the Steam Machine and Steam Frame. But yeah, if you're here for the commentary exclusively, you're probably not here right now. And you can follow me on Twitter at deck_ready if you just want headlines. But for all of you who watch the videos because you're as excited about this stuff as I am, and you genuinely enjoy what I'm doing here, massive thank you to you. You are amazing. True winner in my book. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you in this one. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching and shape on.